everyone, and welcome back to Resin Rockers. Today we are going to be learning how to make the perfect UV resin pen. We're using pink sunglasses, an umbrella, microfine glitter, some UV resin skim coat. We're doing a Papermate pen today because we've had so many questions on them, and the Resin Rocker sublimation pen. We're using sandpaper and butcher paper, a deburring tool, flush cutters to remove the clip on the side of the pen, our adapter to hold our pen, and we're going to start with our Papermate pen because we've had so many questions about this. So we're going to use our flush cutters and clip that little clip right off of the pen as close to the pen base as possible. Next, we're going to sand where that clip was to make sure it's nice and smooth so that we don't have any bumps on our pen. Now let's disassemble. We're going to unscrew the bottom where the ink comes out. We're going to take the ink out, remove the two pins inside the barrel, and set all of this aside, and we will reassemble once the pen has been glittered. Next, we're going to roughen up the pen barrel so that the resin and the glitter stick to it really well. We want a good adhesion. So we're going to put our pen barrel on a 1/4-inch dowel rod and put that right into my drill. This is the hack that I use for sanding whenever I'm doing anything pen related because it saves so much time, and it will also give you a very smooth and even surface when you go to apply that final coat, which is very important. So I'm using a 220 wet dry sandpaper, and I'm just going to hold it up and kind of make my drill go at a medium speed, and that's just going to roughen that surface up really well. Once you notice that it's nice and rough, we're going to go ahead and use some alcohol spray and clean it really well just to make sure that there is no dust or lint or anything on that. We want it to be as smooth and clean as possible. Next, I'm grabbing my butcher paper and I'm going to lay that down because this is what I'm going to use to catch my glitter. We're going to go in with some nitrile finger cots. These are very handy when you're doing pens because you don't have to wear the clunky gloves. I'm going to put one line of UV resin skim coat on and spread a thin coat of UV resin from top to bottom all the way around, and don't forget the very top. Now we're going in with our ombre. The first color I'm using is called Umbrella, and it is from our Super Sparkle series. So I'm going to give a heavy coat on the bottom half and then turn my pen a little bit in a downward motion as I sprinkle just a little bit more so that it's on the other side of the pen. Then we're going to repeat this process with the pink. Now, if you want a lighter color to show this glitter, then I would suggest spray painting or painting your pen with acrylic paint before this process. I would paint it a lighter color like pink or white. Now that it's all glittered and ready to go, we are ready for the initial cure. Because we want the 360 cure, we're using the Magic Cure with the bottom tray and our pen tray. You just slide your dowel rod right into the pen tray and put it into the lamp. And we are going to go up to 48 watts for 120 seconds. I do 2 rounds of this. While this is curing, we're going to go ahead and do the bottom portion of the pen. I usually put a very thin coat of UV resin skim coat all the way around. And then, because it's such a small piece, I will usually just dip it into my glitter jar directly and apply a little bit of pressure. And that does a really good job of evenly coating it all the way around. Once this is coated really well, we're going to add it to our pen tray and then put that in the Magic Cure for 120 seconds as well. While that's curing, I'm going to show you the easiest way to create a custom pen using glitter skim coat in one of our sublimation pens. Take your pen wrap and fold back the top and crease it. Line it up on your pen roller and apply that wrap all the way around that base of the pen. We're going to set this aside and we'll work on this in between. Go ahead and take your pen and your pen bottom out of the Magic Cure, and we are going to apply a coat of skim coat resin. So once you have a coat on the pen and the bottom, we're going to go back in and cure it at 48 watts for 120 seconds. And I usually do this for 2 cycles. Let's go back to the pen wrap. So we are going to put our adapter on our 1/4-inch dowel rod and put the pen directly onto the adapter. Make sure it's nice and tight. We're then going to grab our glitter skim and we are going to apply one thin line all the way down the barrel. You do not need much of this. You don't want to cloud the pen wrap. You just want to seal it with some shine and give it a little sparkle. Use your finger cut and spread it from top to bottom. Make sure that it's nice and coated evenly all the way around. And then we're going to cure this for the same amount 120 seconds at 48 watts, but look at that sparkle. It is so pretty. Let's go back to the glitter pen and take a look. This is the most important part of this process, sanding. I usually do this over the sink in wet sand to keep the dust away from my workstation, but you're going to do it the same way you roughened it up, but you're going to take it down to a dull finish. You don't want to see any shine on this coat. The more dull that you can get it, the better your top coat is going to be, because when you have grit under there, that is the issue. That is when you have a rough, bumpy pen. That and adding too much resin, those are the two top mistakes that I see with pens. Now we're going to sand down that bottom portion and make sure it's nice and clean, and then take some painter's tape and actually tape it to the dowel rod. This will ensure that you don't get any UV resin on the actual pen base itself, because it makes it really hard to screw it back in. Add your glitter pen to your dowel rod, and now we're going in with some skim coat and applying a paper thin coat. The number one mistake is too much resin on this coat. You do not need much, just a paper thin coat to get that really beautiful, smooth, glossy shine. Go ahead and add that to your pen tray, and then we're going to do the exact same thing with the bottom part of the pen. Just a very, very paper thin coat. Then it's back to the magic cure at 48 watts for 120 seconds. While that's curing, let's finish up our lovely pen wrap. This is beautiful, not a single bump. It's gorgeous. That glitter just blends right in with the skim coat, so you don't have to do any sanding at all. So let's go ahead and take this off of our adapter and get it ready to put back together. The first thing that I want you to do is find this little tiny section at the top. This is where the clip goes. You're going to take an X-Acto knife and just very lightly trim back that area where the clip goes, just to make sure that you're not going to wrinkle any of that wrap when you put the clip in. Once you get that nice and trimmed, we're going to take the top portion of our pen and line it up with the clip so that it goes right into the barrel where that slit goes. Pop in the bottom and you have a finished pen, and look how gorgeous that is. So if you don't like glittering and you don't like sanding, this is a great alternative for you to make these pens and still feel good about it. Let's go ahead and take out our glitter pen and take a look. Look how beautiful it is. It's perfectly smooth, no bumps, no imperfections. Absolutely gorgeous. I love how this turned out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get this pen ready for reassembly. There's a little bit of resin and glitter in the top, so I'm going to use my deburring tool in a circular motion and just kind of shave that out. We're also going to check the bottom. We want to make sure there is no resin anywhere in the top or bottom, because that will make your pen very hard to reassemble and use. So once that's clean, go ahead and take the painter's tape off the bottom, put the two pins back together, and those go in first with the silver side up. Put in your ink, and then you're going to screw the bottom part in. Now, one thing that you should do is let your pen rest for about 10 to 12 hours before reassembly, just to make sure that it's nice and cured. We want to give it time to degas. But once your pen is together, this is what it looks like. It's so pretty. And that's how easy it is to make two different kinds of custom glitter pens. All of the supplies for this video are linked in the description below. Make sure you like and subscribe our channel for more classes and more fun resin art tutorials.